Hey, this is Dre with the Real Uncomfortable Conversation Podcast. What's going on, y'all? How y'all day going? Hope y'all having a positive day. I definitely want to start the podcast off just by starting by checking in feelings. Y'all already know the count. Feelings check, feelings check. How was y'all day? What happened to y'all today? Let's kind of like set the mood by starting off talking about what happened today. Hey, today was one of them days, y'all. I don't know. I don't know if it was the weather or what, but it was just one of them days, How was everybody's day? I'm tuning in. You can kind of interact. Just let me know. How was your day? How was your day today? Feelings chat. What went on today? I go ahead and start off. I know for me, right now I'm feeling good. Feeling pretty optimistic. How I say I'm excited. I'm excited though. I'm really excited today. A lot is happening. A lot of movement forward, but definitely thankful for the elevation season. Yeah, but that's the mood I'm in. A lot is happening. A lot of things are happening. So I'm excited about this event, having a podcast. I've been telling a lot of people about it, and people are like subscribing like left and right. When I'm out, I'm like, hey, check me out. I got a podcast. Da da da. Everybody signing up. So I'm excited. Shout out to everybody that subscribed. I'm getting a lot of people signing up on the spot, and that makes me feel good. It makes me feel like, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing it the correct way. So, the more viewers, the more motivated I'll be, and, the more, content, that'll come out of me, because I'm really challenging myself. This podcast is definitely a challenge for me because it helps me to be able to step out the box, if anybody know me, I love stepping out of the box, stepping out of the box, kind of give you that push. So that's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling really like optimistic about, stepping out of the box. It's definitely a beautiful thing, so I also, about the feelings that I'm having now. I also want to talk about, some things that happened in my day today, starting off like, hey, what happened to you today? So, when you talk about how you feel, then I say, what happened to you today? You know what I'm saying? So if anybody want to kind of tap into the feelings check, or tap into like some situations that, might have, they went through today, just let me know. Go ahead, tap in, and, and we'll elaborate, But anyways, for me, one thing that was pretty cool, I wrote it down. So I was coming back from the gym, and when I was coming back from the gym, I work out now outside of my gym, so I got my own gym, but, I go outside and kind of work out at the the local gyms out here. So I be kind of like low key, but I be, I'm low key, but at the same time, you already understand who I am, even me being low key with my brand. I wear my brand every day, that's the only time I won't wear my brand if I'm up here, but so I'm walking out, and so I see a lady say, hey, a lady stopped me, and she said, are you a trainer? I was like, yes. I said, but it's not my gym here, so I'm kind of working out. She's like, hold on. She was like, oh, she was like, you train such and such and such. I was like, yeah, that's my client. She was like, well, I'm her pastor. And I was like, oh, snap. So it was pretty cool. She was like, I need to come get with you. It was cool to it's cool bumping into people. You know what I mean? That, know people that I've trained or interact. It's definitely a dope experience. I'm having that happen on a normal, and that is really getting me optimistic. That's making me optimistic. When I'm bumping into random people that say, hey, I know you, I see you on social networks. So that's making me want to keep pushing. So I had that happen to me. My clients crushed today. Shout out to all my clients that I might have trained today. Today was a great day. My clients really put that pressure to the workouts today. We pushing them really hard. So shout out to my clients. Another cool thing that happened to me. So I actually had an opportunity to talk to my biological father today. So that was pretty cool. That was an exciting experience for me. To be able to happen. It was a lot. Me and him don't talk as much. But when we do, it's definitely an experience. So I was able to talk to him today. So that was one of the things that I highlighted my moment. And also, I was able to talk to my son. So that was a beautiful thing. I actually, talked to him, kind of caught up with his day, asked him about, how school is and, how many push-ups he doing the whole night. So I had one of them days, y'all, bumping into people. low key. So, this was another thing. This was cool too, y'all. Look, check this out, right? This is the last cool thing that happened to me today, right? I'm in 7-Eleven, and I go to 7-Eleven, right? So I go to 7-Eleven right across from my gym that I go to all the time. So I'm walking in there, and actually, I ran out of a hoodie, so I had like a old tight shirt. I was looking crazy. I ran out of shirts, right? So I had this little tight shirt on, so I'm walking. So the guy's like, he's like, hey. He said, man, what's going on? I was like, I'm doing all right. He was like, man, I remember you. You was that crazy guy that came in. This is what he said, it's my word. He said, you was that crazy guy that came in and said, Happy Monday, Happy Monday. I started yelling Happy Monday. Sometimes when I walk into 7-Eleven, right, I just start like screaming, yelling positive vibes. This is my word. So the guy remembered it. And when the guy remembered, he was like, yeah, he was like, yeah, you was that crazy guy that kept, yelling Happy Monday. He was like, but he said, that really made my day. My word, the dude said, that made my day. And you know what I told him? I said, to be honest, if I probably was going hard like that, you know what might have happened? That probably was one of the bad days I was having. I had to like shoot out a lot of motivation in order to like, get my thing going. People that know me understand that when I'm going through it, I have to motivate people so I feel better. You understand what I'm saying? So I told him I thanked him for that, because realistically, y'all know how I say, anybody that know me, know I'm always with that, happy Monday, happy Monday. Monday is the first day that you can knock out your goals. You should already have your goals set before the week comes. So Monday be that exciting day for me that I like to, yell out. If you dread a Monday, you got to rearrange your mindset. So that's another session. But yeah, so that was pretty exciting to have that happen today. But speaking of that, it's before I go into the topic, y'all, I'm letting everybody know this will be the last live that I post that I'll be, dropping on social network like this, I am subscribed to a YouTube channel that all my real content will be directly up there. I will not be using these other platforms for dominant live like I'm doing now. We're not about to, we might elaborate, have you guys interacting, but I'm about to switch it around where you won't have the full content on these platforms. If you want to get this type of content, you have to subscribe to the Real Uncomfortable Conversation podcast on YouTube. And I will be dropping my links below so you guys can just go up there and, tally up and subscribe. Subscribe. The more people subscribe, the more I'm gonna open up, the more I'm gonna get more content. So that's my thing. I don't, when we start to open up and really talk about what we need to talk about, you guys gonna have to go to their YouTube channel, because I'm gonna really be putting on for that, that type of situation. I'm gonna have like little snippets up here. But for now on, I'm moving past having this is like, where you can catch the whole. Nah, you gotta subscribe. You want this, you gotta subscribe. So I'm just putting that out there, and I'm serious about that. So this will be the last official, long drawn out, live that somebody could just on Facebook hop on and, what I'm saying? Nah, you guys need to go check out that subscription and go subscribe to the YouTube. The Real Uncomfortable Conversation podcast. Y'all go check that out. Anyways, today, y'all, hold on, let me get some water. Well, something to drink. Yeah, I know we go in the refrigerator. Being a little lazy, got my water dip at the top. Yeah, we're going to get it in. We're going to talk that talk today, y'all. What we advertising? Body armor. Body armor. Listen, let me tell y'all something about this body armor. Y'all not hip. This body armor gets you right. Got some electrolytes in here, got the natural flavors in here. I'm telling y'all know what y'all missing with this coconut water. This coconut water got the electrolytes and everything, the antioxidants and all that. Look, vitamin B, D, C, all that in there. We ain't playing. Anyways, y'all. All right. Stepdads. We talking about stepdads today. Stepdad. You know why? Because I'm a stepdad. That's why another reason why I want to talk about this stuff. Yeah, I'm a stepdad. And I'm definitely learning a lot about being a stepdad, having a stepdad, and the whole role in being a dad, So I wanted to come up here and talk that talk. I wanted to come up here and get people to understand different concepts. And if anybody had any questions while I was talking, we can definitely elaborate. If you guys wanted to come up here and kind of like post, or feel free. Because realistically, that's how we're gonna rock out, okay? But yeah, stepdads. That's what we're talking about. Stepdads, the importance of being a stepdad, the pros and cons, the benefits. We got this advice for the stepdads. We got some good content right here, y'all. So, that's another exciting thing we're gonna be talking about. Stepdads. Topic is we're gonna be talking about what's up with the pros and cons, the viewpoints. And then what about, like I said, I'm also a stepdad, and I love my son to death, and he definitely teaches me a lot. He teaches me, things about myself that I have to be on P's and Q's about, and that's probably like one of the loudest things, that I love it when it comes down to how being a stepdad benefits, for me personally. It adds value to my decision-making skills. I think that, now, you know what? I ain't even going to cap. That's probably the best thing I've received when it came down to being a stepdad. I think, well, I keep saying I think, it made me really value my decision-making skills, so that's pretty dope. But, and it's interesting because I have a stepdad and I was raised by my stepdad. And it's even more unique because when I have a stepdad and I'm raising a stepson, it's like, dang, like, it's unique connections with it. But when it comes down to, it's wild because when I grew up, we didn't really use step. Like, my stepdad was, it feels more funny calling him a stepdad than it is, calling him dad. He was a solid, my dad is very solid, with how he raised me and some of the core values that, that he instilled in me. So, and, being a stepdad, having to pick up slack, is something I think is really unheard of, or not unheard of. It's really like kind of like brushed under the rug about how much that takes of a man to accept another man's responsibility. And like I said, it's pros and cons to it, the understanding, because so many people have so many viewpoints about what should be done, what shouldn't be done, how to discipline, how not to, what I mean? It's so much, what I mean? And so we just gonna kind of cover some of that stuff. I know I'm kind of bouncing around, but my life experiences and some of the things that I've seen other people deal with, or some of my friends, is like, oh man, I got to talk about this thing, because even with me, I had questions that I had to learn, to understand how to be a more effective stepdad, in the whole totality of the situation. But hopefully this podcast could keep, the stepdads are tuned in to, listen, elaborate, interact, because even me, I'm always challenging myself to learn as well. I feel like as soon as I learn, the best way to learn something is to teach it. The best way to learn something is to teach it. For me, I really feel like that. So, anyways, going back to the topic, y'all. And I'm gonna tell you like this: the importance of a stepdad is it's like this. You have an opportunity to change a child's life, when that child has to detour, not even by his own decision. Like, the child didn't have anything to do with the biological father being there or the biological mother not being there. They're innocent in a sense. So when you step in as a stepfather or stepdad, you're changing that person's life. You know what I mean? You're giving that person a safe detour. So that's a blessing. And one of the brackets, or one of the trophies when it comes down to that type of job title for stepdads, that you are giving a person a second chance of learning how to become a man, or how to receive a dad in that role. You know what I mean? It's a very beautiful thing. And while some of the things that I feel like stepdads should really be learning is understanding, and also discipline is one of the things that's kind of been like one of the the hot topics of being a stepdad. And I'll just go into it. I think the biggest thing, one of the biggest core factors and being a stepdad is understanding. You must be understanding of not just the child, you must be understanding of yourself, the child's mother. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a ton of understanding, because you will always have to be thinking of how the situation could be, and understanding all people's perspectives. It can be pretty tough, and speaking of tough, discipline. What happens when, as a stepdad, you have to discipline the child. Then it gets really uncomfortable, and I'm gonna put a question out there, y'all. Let me see if people respond. Anybody that's viewing, what are some of your viewpoints of disciplining stepchildren? And to me, I'll answer it while I'm waiting for people to open up. I'll say this: discipline doesn't have to be always physical. I believe. I know it doesn't always have to be physical. Sometimes people connect discipline with like physical, and it does not have to always be like that. I found that dealing with my son, I found that he's way better at responding to correcting his behavior when I give him a mental discipline. I believe as a stepdad, it's important for us to learn how to understand our child to be able to effectively, correct their behavior mentally and physically, and I'm not saying you be physical, but you have to learn how to correct their physical and their mental. And in order to do that, you have to have a ton of understanding, so you can come up with creative ways, like, if every night you're used to eating Chick-fil-A every night, and then, he really looks forward to it. Hey, he can't have Chick-fil-A. He has to eat this. Or he has to eat something at the house while we go out, and you know what I mean? Things like that will make anything to make the kid start thinking. You really want to get to his mind, because if any kids are like me when I was a kid, I was a little tougher. So, a basic whooping, I could kind of like, I got my share of whoopings when I was a kid, and so like you had to do a little bit more to me than just whoop me, you know what I'm saying, or be physical with me. But so I think that's important, making sure you understand your kids so you can effectively discipline them, come up with creative ways, not just sit them in that's not always cool too, sitting your kid or take it. You got to be a stepdad. You have to be really creative about how you understand these kids and how you can be able to, get them to switch their mental behavior, because it's not easy. But once you figure it out, stick with it, It's important. I think I'm going to talk about some of the hard parts. I'm going to talk about some of the hard parts, I believe, personally and generally, that stepdads kind of go through. I think the first one is finding out, like sometimes as a stepdad, you will see your child, having characteristics that you're grooming into them, but not necessarily who they are, and it's not, you have to be understanding to say, hey, look, they will have different characteristics, and that's okay, because genetically, that's just the count. So when you see a genetic or characteristic that's not from you, you have to understand how to deal with that. Like, for me, my son, I can be very like, do this, like I can make him do a lot of physical work. And my son is not really he's not as like physical as I am. And I'd be like, get it, come on, pick all the bags up. Like, get all the bags. And he'd be picking them joints up, but he'll tell me quick, like, I don't want to do this. So I have to realize that that's really not his thing. He's really not, that type of, guy. He'll help. But for me to load it on him, nah, he ain't doing that, so... I had to learn, to kind of like rearrange my mindset and how I deal with them, because if it was up to me, yeah, come on, son, bro, man, pick up all the bags. I would have been on that type of wave, and how far is that going to get me? So stepdads, make sure you don't fall into that. Don't force a characteristic into your son or into your daughter that you realize isn't there. I would say instead of forcing it, I would say groom it, because character takes a little while to start, to realistically get in. So, make sure you are careful with not forcing character into your stepkids versus, drilling to them. It's a big difference, so watch out for that. Second little thing I think is a hard thing to pay attention to is in-laws. In-laws can be definitely tough when it comes down to raising stepkids, stepchildren. Sometimes in-laws don't always see it the way you see it because you coming into the picture, Sometimes you don't deal with that because they could be there from the beginning. But my case of scenario wasn't that. I wasn't in that situation. I had to come in and say, hey, this is who I am. This is how I plan to be his dad. And this is how I plan to learn how to be moldable. And that's one thing I'm going to talk about, being moldable to change. I didn't get the best, acceptance, from my in-laws. And when it came down to, raising my son, it wasn't the easiest. And that's just how it is. When you understand the principle, you understand why people are the way they are, you understand that it's nothing personal, but they want to see you put on. So stepdad's you got to be tough because these in-laws just not naturally giving in 24/7. Not saying this for everybody. I'm just telling people this could be one of the tough things that you have to deal with, proving your point, but not proving your point. You don't want to go overboard with proving to other people who you are, because then you'll start being somebody that you're not, and then you look up, you're letting them shape who you are as a stepson, as a stepdad. Fellas, don't do that. Be who you are and the type of stepdad that you want to be. And the only reason I say step because we're being technical. I wouldn't even suggest realistically to be using step when it comes down to raising stepkids, because I personally think, in my opinion, that it's more important for the versus the title, the energy and the consistent feeling be there as a dad role model is what's more important versus the terminology. So I won't repeat that again. Hopefully you can go back and rewind that part, but that's the count when it comes down to it. But for right now, I'm only saying step for the terminology of it. But yeah, sometimes the in-laws aren't all on board, and you have to really stand up for who you are and believe in yourself and go from there. It will work itself out if you stand still and concentrate on the child and concentrate on who you are and what's important to instill what that child is missing. All right, don't forget that. Finding out what works, that's important too. When you have a stepchild, you have to make sure that you're figuring out what works, because everything might not work. It is important that you don't always take what happened to you and throw it to your child. All right? That is not smart to always do. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some things that, key values that you really need. But certain things, don't take everything that was instilled in you and just be like, hey, that's the automatically answer. Be open-minded to finding out what works, okay? Be open-minded. Don't say, hey, if it ain't working, it's going to, nah. Listen, don't be silly to think that if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get a different result. That's not how it works. Y'all already know the count with that situation, so don't be silly, Figure out what works. That's definitely important. And like I said, the pros, when you figure this thing out, you have an opportunity to really make a difference in a child's life, and I sit back and think about it. I definitely, am thankful for, my stepdad. My stepdad did a good job, raising me and being there and being responsible, and he changed my life. And if he didn't make those decisions to stay solid and doing that, my life would have been in a detour, and I wouldn't be in front of you talking now, and that's just real, and the relationship with fathers and sons aren't always the best, what I'm saying? They, and the only reason I'm saying, I'm not taking nothing from the women, when it comes down to, having daughters, but, from the man taking care of the daughter as a step child, but more personally, I'm just speaking on having a stepson, so definitely thankful for them stepdads, man. Y'all definitely are definitely game changers, underrated game changers. So you definitely make a big difference out here. So that's definitely dope, y'all. Advice, I would definitely say, don't shape yourself up to be how others think that you should be. Like, excuse me. Don't let people shape you up to be who you need to be. Like, as a stepdad, be who you are, but be open-minded, all right? Be open-minded. Don't be closed-minded, all right? Be moldable to change. It is okay to change. It's okay to change, y'all. 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 Yeah, I know I play the drums, did y'all? All right. Anyways, look, y'all. It's okay to change. All right. So listen, what I'm saying. Being moldable. You never change who you are. I'm always gonna be Dre, but I definitely can change things about Dre. Don't be afraid to change. Hey, don't be afraid to change. Hey, don't be afraid to change. All right? Change is cool. I'm always going to be Dre, but I always can change things about Dre. All right? As a stepdad, you're always a solid stepdad, but you always can change things about you. All right? Always. All right? So, keep going. All right. So when it comes down to finding out the pros and the cons about yourself to fix, it will really show you, like, all right, I need to do this better as a stepdad. I need to do that better as a stepdad. I know for me personally, I felt like I got a little caught up with, like, the worries in life and, like, my business, and I had to sit down and, like, organize, like, hold on, Dre. Like, you don't want to get too busy, you know what I mean, with your life, where you're kind of like finding yourself drift off with the essence of, my son, and we have a blessing, man. I mean, we have a blast. When I'm with my son, this is the coolest thing about chilling with my son, right? I'm a boss when I work, and I'm with my business, and, I got to, deal with, grown people 24/7. And then when I call him, or he called me, he like, look, I want to go here, da-da-da-da-da. So I'll be like, yo, all right, let's make ends meet, and then let's go out. You know what I'm saying? So it's my opportunity to be a kid. So I tell my son, I'm like, this how I deal with my son, right? So I call him, I'll be like, yo. He'd be like, I want to hang out with you. I'm like, all right, bet. I'm like, all right, bet. So I check my schedule, right? I go look, I'm like, look, on this day, da-da-da-da, we're going to hang out. You just tell me what you want to do. So on the day I call him, we go. I'm like, yo, what you want to do? So I like to personally prepare myself that whatever my son say he want to do, I take him out to do that. So, I be like, I go hard, and I work hard. So when I have an opportunity to hang out with my son and be like, let's go out and catch some experiences, whatever he name is covered because I work so hard. So some weekends, he's light, and he might say, I want to go here, I might go skating or something. I'm like, okay, it's a little easy, but then he might be like, yo, I want to go this place and that place and that place. I'm like, all right, what I'm saying? Like, he ain't paying no bills on him, so, so my son would definitely hit me off like that, but it's just a beautiful feeling to be a kid around him, and I tell stepdads like this, take the opportunity being around your stepchild to let that inner, kid out. People don't, on the inside, I am a big kid. So when I'm hanging out with my son, I get to be the biggest kid ever. You know what I'm saying? That's fun to me, and that's fun to me, and I instill things in him, and I tell him, I say, hey, where's your wallet? I'm really hard on him about keeping his wallet. And I say, hey, why do you need to keep your wallet? I explain to him, and he say, because that's what men do. Some of his answers, I'll tell him that. I say, hey, this is your response. Why do we take out the trash? That's what men do. Why do you open the door for your mom? That's what men do. Why do you keep your wallet on you? That's what men do. And I want him to understand clearly that's what men do. and it's a blessing, to have talked to my biological father today. That was like a real highlight, y'all, because I haven't talked to my biological father in years, so it was definitely one of them situations that was like, it was tough for me, and I was able to have that uncomfortable conversation with him. Shout out to my biological father, Andre, my name's DeAndre. I'm not a junior, but I'm named after him. So, it was a cool opportunity to talk to him and kind of get some stuff off my chest, in one conversation, he took it pretty well. I kind of, I low key unloaded, what I'm saying? Not disrespectful, but, had an opportunity to talk to him, and it was definitely a blessing for him, to see, him doing better in his life. And, it was definitely an experience for me. It's definitely an experience for me. And dang, yeah, it was an experience, man. It was a real uncomfortable conversation, and I was thankful to have it. I told him about the things that I'm catching up in. My pa told him about the podcast. I even went so far and took my shirt off. I was so excited. I was like, man, you see how big I'm getting? So I started flexing. I was like, man, I'm getting huge, man. So I'm talking about I popped the joint off. You know what I'm saying? So, it was real cool talking to him. But, so just things like that. This podcast is definitely doing a little bit more than I expected to me. I knew, talking to him will open up, because I didn't think I was going to talk about stepdads, but having the opportunity to having a stepdad who's really solid in my life, having a stepson who I'm solid in his life, and talking to my biological father, was interesting, situation all happened to me today. I know, reflecting, it was certain things that I grew up in my life that only my biological father could like, in a sense, help me with or really connect with. My stepdad did a great job, raising me and instilling hard work ethics in me. I don't think my stepdad, really gets enough credit, to be honest. With some of the sacrifices and the things that he made. He didn't dot every I, cross every T, but he definitely is the reason that I'm standing here looking at y'all now. When it comes down to, being a man. And like I said, it's just a blessing to at least be learning and having all this happen to me, and one day, y'all, I had all this happen. I didn't think I was going to come up here and do the podcast, but it kind of like, when I come up here, when the energy drop in my spirit, I'll come in here and definitely, and, I wrote a couple notes, but, it was definitely one of the things I felt led to talk about. And big shout outs to stepdads that's out there doing it. You guys are definitely the winners. The stepdads are definitely the winners. And the biological fathers, I need y'all to step up, period, with no excuses. It's just that simple. You got to step up, regardless of what it is. If it's your responsibility, a real man, step up and handle his responsibility. So shout out to my stepdads that's doing their things, and also shout out and tell the biological fathers that's out there that's not handling their responsibilities, y'all step up. And shout out to the ones that are. Shout out to the biological fathers that are still dealing with stepdads and doing it the correct way. Y'all the winners too, low key, So I gotta give it to the biological fathers that's doing it the correct way too, because all biological fathers not, sitting back not doing nothing. So, just all around with positive vibes. The whole situation is for everybody to to learn from this and be better. And this situation was definitely in my spirit real heavy, y'all. I'm telling you, I had one of them days. I've been training since 6 a.m. And it was a lot today. So I'm actually excited to be having a podcast. Hey, look, y'all, this will be the last podcast that I have that that I'll be going live up here like this. I'm about to have it where people could, dang man, I was missing y'all interactions. But yeah, y'all. So I'm excited about that. Shout out to David Bird. What's up, Bird? Bird responded back. It was definitely dope to have that conversation. He said it was a conversation that needed to happen. Definitely. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Interacting with people that y'all can interact. Y'all talk to me nice. If y'all watching, y'all talk. All right. But yeah, man, it definitely was a conversation that needed to happen. I think for me, I wanted to go being a stepdad and seeing characteristics in me and in my stepson made me want to connect to my biological father so I can ask him about how to deal with certain characters and characteristics in me that I felt like he could have helped me with, and also applying it to learning how to see the difference in the character. Because I'm telling you, if you're not paying attention and you're not on point when it comes down to understanding stepchildren, you won't make it. I'm telling you. You got to be patient. You must remain patient. You must be moldable. Like, I ain't gonna over talk, but yeah, we talked about this stuff, y'all. We really did our thing in this podcast, y'all. And this session, it was a good session, y'all. Y'all, look, go say, look, this is the last one, y'all. This is my word. This is the last joint that I'm gonna be dropping up here live like this. So everybody must go subscribe, okay? I'm about to start opening up more and more. I'm about to have some guest speakers up here and everything. Y'all gotta go subscribe. Go subscribe. You know what I mean? So go subscribe. Go let people know the Real Uncomfortable Conversation podcast. That's how we rock it. Y'all got any questions? Y'all can pop up. I'm out of here in 5 minutes. I'm gonna chit chat for 5 minutes. Y'all watching? Y'all go up here and chit chat. So y'all ask me questions, and that's how we gonna rock out. So that's how we rocking, y'all. That's how we rocking. I'm excited. It's a good podcast, and y'all go subscribe. Go subscribe. Go tell your friends to subscribe. Y'all give me some more ideas of what y'all want to hear. My word, I already got some guest speakers that I'm gonna have up here. I'm just honestly just kind of like, making sure that I do it the way, what I'm saying, that I want to do things. You know what I mean? Just test driving this joint out myself. But eventually, like I said, I will get guest speakers and everything up here, but we getting rid of the Facebook and different social network platforms. No, straight. Everything gonna be on the YouTube channel. Because when I go around, right, I be like, look, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. I be talking about such and such. So people around me be like, okay, and they be subscribing on like right then and there. So what I'm gonna start doing is just putting my content on. I'm telling y'all, listen, anybody that know me, y'all better go get to that podcast. Y'all better go get to it. That's my word. Y'all better go get to it. Why? Okay, somebody said why? Why what? Yeah, why what? What's up? Y'all, for real though, I'm really about to start letting loose on this podcast, y'all. The only way y'all gonna be able to get this content is on the YouTube, okay? On the channel. This is the last little skit. You got about 3 more minutes, y'all. I'm closing the book. 3 more minutes. I'm closing the book. Yeah, I want to learn how to just be a little bit more open, what I'm saying, and learn how to be more, versatile, because it's not this. I'm gonna tell you like this. This podcast is not comfortable for me, honestly. It's not bad, but I'm public, but I'm really not that too public. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a difference for me, but I'm liking what the podcast is teaching me. I'm liking, how it's pushing me to be where I need to be. So that's definitely a blessing. Yep. 60 seconds, y'all. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. I'm excited, y'all. I would say I'm excited, y'all. I should put that. So, hey, y'all see how the name right here? That's sweet, ain't it? I smashed. I tucked the chair. I tucked the chair like this, so you can see my last name. See it. So everybody see that joint. But yeah, y'all. All right, we about to get out of here. D Huntley, y'all know the count. DeAndre Huntley. I'm telling you, we gonna get it in, y'all. Hey, look, y'all know what's up. Y'all go subscribe to the Real Uncomfortable Conversation. Go check it out. Have a nice day.